Good evening and a very warm welcome to Scrum V Sunday. The Rugby World Cup is well and truly over and all eyes were back on Wales on a weekend of farewells and fireworks. I'm delighted to be joined by a man who amassed 97 international caps. He's a British and Irish Lions Man of the Series, double Grand Slam winner and soon-to-be Welsh Rugby Union board member, Wales rugby legend Jamie Roberts, and Sean. There he is. You're on the show often enough. You don't need an introduction. Jamie, what was behind the decision? Congratulations.
Yeah, no, just delighted. Absolutely, privileged to be involved with the board.
You look at the issues between board and players recently, then very progressive, and I don't think there's many, if any, other unions that have done the same. Well done.
There we are, more on Wales in a moment, but here's what's coming up on the show tonight.
Familiar faces in unfamiliar clobber as the Principality Stadium bids farewell to Justin Tipuric, Alun Wyn Jones and Lee Halfpenny. Cardiff University men's team are here to demo some positional play. From London to Llanelli, we bring you up to speed with a packed weekend of URC action.
Off the pizza, backs off to Beer and scores!
Phil Steele visits Pontypool Park for a top-of-the-table Gwent derby clash between Pooler and Vale in the Indigo Prem. And Wales women were in action in the final round of WXV1 against Australia.
Yeah, so much to get through, so let's get straight to the action. Wales v the Barbarians. Alun Wyn Jones, Lee Halfpenny and Justin Tipuric's last match at the Principality Stadium. Your commentators for this one, Nick Webb and Rhys Priestland.
Wales recycle. Halfpenny again involved at first receive, and then Johnny Williams again using his power to get back up to 22.
On the previous take off, so we play on.
Beard. The break for George North. North has got Thomas Williams in. Wales up to 49 points to the Barbarians 26. We've had 11 tries. We've said goodbye to the legends. Alun Wyn Jones, Justin Tipuric and Lee Halfpenny.
Alun Wyn Jones, all good things come to an end and we know this really is the end for you. Has it sunk in yet? Sum up your emotions for us. And we will hear more from Alun Wyn Jones later in the programme. Breaking news today, Lee Halfpenny has signed for the Crusaders, so he will be plying his trade in the Southern Hemisphere next season. But let's talk about the game, Sean, because there's never that much emphasis on a win when it comes to a Barbarians match. What specifically would Gatland have been looking for?
Well, I think he said it there, Lauren. I think he was looking to have a look at some players in the Welsh jersey again, against some quality opposition. You look at the front rows and Dewi Lake and Fairbrother in particular, who just came right in out of the blue. But the wingers, both wingers went really well, I thought.
Right, well, it was an emotionally charged day at the stadium yesterday, and 3 of Wales's national treasures said their farewells. So where would you go to cast your eyes on national treasures? The National Museum of Wales, of course, and that's exactly where we find Gareth, Rhys, Owen. And there he is, our national treasure. Hang him in the Louvre, I say. But Jamie Roberts, he's been ever present in that Wales jersey. Was there before you, finished after you, and that's saying something. What sets him apart professionally?
There's probably not more I can say about Alun Wyn Jones that hasn't been said already.
Like the invisible man, he crops up everywhere. And that position is so important, not just for a full-back, but for the back three. And, Jim, brought some students from your former haunt, Cardiff University.
Yep.
In your come, boys. We're going to do a little demo that maybe you in your club, your school, your team, whatever, that you can use for back three positioning. We hear this word pendulum a lot. And the boys, from Cardiff Uni are forming an attacking backline, if you like. So, Jamie, you're at the moment, this is quite deep in our half. I'm Lee Halfpenny, I wish. You're Jamie Roberts, of course. You're playing on the wing. You played on the wing at the highest level and 15. You've been a defence captain. At the moment, we've got you covering off that potential 50-22 option. If we pass the ball to 10, you've cut that off now, all right? But if that ball gets shifted along the line, what are you going to do as an open side winger?
Yeah, and you're right. I'm kind of half and half before 10 kicks the ball. I'm reading 10's body language. Has he identified any space in the corner here? Probably quick enough back in the day to get back, retrieve that ball. Once it goes past 10 and they start playing to an edge, defence coaches now like that open side winger to be aggressive. We've just seen the Springboks win Rugby World Cup by being super aggressive on the wing. So I'm trying to bring as much heat as I can, probably to this last but one defender, and hopefully cut off that play.
Now, you've left that space here to cover. What's my role as Lee Halfpenny?
Well, to stay connected with me as a pendulum. I mean, the word is self-explanatory, isn't it? So if I'm vacating that space, bringing an aggressive defence, you're then going to cover this space, not only for the kick through off second receiver, but also if they make a line break.
Yeah, so any kick from second receiver, I've potentially covered that now. Right, you've pulled me. We've heard this word pendulum a lot. Now, that means that the blindside winger possibly has a role as well. So we're going to bring Will in from his blindside. If you come back, Jim, Will, you're on the blindside wing. Jamie's pushed up because he has to. The attack has shifted the ball. Lee Halfpenny, me here. I've shifted towards roughly where would you say this was, Jim?
Probably 15 metre.
Okay.
I think it allows you enough space to use that touchline as a defender, but, you know, you don't cut across too soon.
So now, on this pendulum, Will has come probably to the other 15-metre line. So we've got two almost like centre-backs, and that does leave some sort of channel down the middle. That's why we see a lot of kicks come down, hit grass down the middle of the field. But now we have this pendulum effect. Now then, what if they ship the ball on and attack?
Yeah, so obviously my job in D as an open side winger in an aggressive defence is to try and cut this play off. I don't want the ball to get to an edge. So unfortunately, attacks are pretty good nowadays. So if I'm coming, I'm putting heat on this last but one man, but he manages to get the ball away. So I'm committed to a tackle here. Your skill set is one-on-one tackling. So, and that's where Lee Halfpenny was one of the best in the world. One-on-one tackling, we've seen some amazing moments down the years. Big wingers, small wingers, you know, fast wingers. Being able to tackle in that amount of space is an unbelievable skill.
So let's see that again. Come back, Jim. Let's get it back to the 12. We're going to pass this along. Jamie's going to commit. Lee Halfpenny now, he's got a one-on-one, and he vacates the space even further up the field to make that one-on-one tackle. Great. Let's go back. One other scenario, Jamie, right? We've tried to cover all bases off. Now, this time, we're going to go right along, but they're so good in attack, they make a line break. So on we go, boys. Ship it across. In they come. We've got a one-on-one here, and they've got support on the inside. What happens now? Yeah,
well, this is where the pendulum is absolutely all-important, right? It's very hard, I think, when you're rush defending and you're coming up quite high, to track back as well. It's one of the real tough skills as a midfielder. You're coming up aggressively, they make a line break. You've got to try and beat these attackers back to that space. But if the ball comes back, often this midfielder is going to beat me into that space. This is where the blindside wing is absolutely crucial. Will, they're covering, connecting with us as a pendulum, the three of us working together to cut off that attack.
Fantastic. Will, do you make the tackle?
I did make the tackle.
Well done. Cardiff University, boys. Now, you've got a big game coming up. Who are you playing next?
Next game, one's game against Durham away. Long journey for the boys, but they'll do it.
Will Carlin's Old University against Jamie Roberts' Old University. Thanks for coming today. Good luck with the next game. Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
Can't wait to put it to work, boys. How much did these two enjoy that? Very much in your natural habitat. But talking of Lee Halfpenny, we are now going to turn our attention to one of his former clubs, the Scarlets, who after 2 away losses in South Africa had their first game on home soil. And what better way to kickstart their home campaign than with a derby against Cardiff?
Nice little tip on by Thomas. Now Ray Lowe started the first game at the Arms Park, wasn't included. And Theo Cabango is going to go in and get that losing bonus point for Cardiff.
OK, we'll talk about Scarlets in a moment, but let's pick up on what Matt Sherratt said, because it's one thing letting 1 or 2 games slip at the start of the season. It becomes harder to turn around if you're consistently doing it. Where did that game get away from them?
He talked about being blinkered, an extra pass there. The difference between the two sides, Lauren, summed up in a couple of statistics. It's in your red zone entries. You know, Scarlets were so clinical. The conversion rate in the red zone efficiency, what that means is every time they went in, you know, how did they convert that into points? 71% look converted. It's hugely important, but I think Dwayne knew that, and he's got some serious players to come back. I tell you what, you know, people like Fafita and Gareth Davis, Johnny McNichol, they stood up with the youngsters yesterday. They're going to need that. But their home form is excellent, and I think they'll be the top Welsh region.
Oh, there we are, you heard it here. Right, well, after 2 defeats at home in their opening fixtures, Di Flanagan's men face the daunting task of travelling to Cork to face high-flying and undefeated Munster in Musgrave Park.
Right, towards the middle, taken with consummate ease, half-back, spread the ball wide, and it is Nash comes in off his wing. There's an opportunity now, ball back in. The Dragons registered their second try. Unfortunately, they came up against a very slick outfit.
Yes, you have to go back to 2004 to find the Dragons' last win at Munster when Percy Montgomery was kicking the points, Andy Marinos crossing for tries. So it's always going to be a tall order, Sean. It's a true reflection of where they're at.
Oh, 100%. I mean...
But just the one more game to bring you from the USC as the Ospreys swap Swansea for South West London on Friday night in a first for the league and the region. They faced off against the Sharks at the Twickenham Stoop.
Owen Williams decides to keep that on the field. Cox underneath it. Pass. Evades Max Nagy.
Yeah, what a win for the Ospreys. 4 tries v Connacht, 4 tries v Ebbw, and they weren't far off for 4th at your old stomping ground, Jamie Roberts. How much of a statement was that?
Serious performance. Great win. Friday night lights at the Stoop.
But now we've analysed all 3 Welsh games. Let's take a look at the moment of the round, which comes from Galway as unbeaten Connacht secure a comeback win v Ulster at the sports ground. McFarlane's side led by 20 points to 3 early in the second half, but Connacht stormed back to snatch a narrow win through that Kilgallen try. Right, let's take a look at this weekend's other results. It was a high-scoring affair in Italy between Ebbw and the Bulls. Leinster made it 2 on the bounce after an opening round defeat to Glasgow, and Benetton triumphant against the Lions in the only Sunday fixture. So what does that all mean? Means Connacht are flying high with 3 wins out of 3. Current champions Munster, the other team unbeaten at this stage, while the Ospreys are the only Welsh representation in the top half. So looking at the bottom half, Cardiff are just above the Scarlets on bonus points, while Di Flanagan's Dragons are still searching for their first victory. Right, let's turn our attention to the Indigo Prem and to Pontypool Park, where Premiership new boys Pooler welcomed local rivals Ebbw Vale on Thursday night. It promised to be some occasion, and Phil Steele wasn't going to miss this one.
This match is always worth a mention in the Good Feud Guide. Normally in a Gwent derby here, they'd be replacing the divots in the players rather than the pitch at the end of the game. But tonight, there might just be some brotherly love involved.
As you are! Quiet!
Gone sideways. Good defensive work there by Pooler. They have to be careful they don't get held up here, the Steelman. Pontypool have come out on top.
So here we are, a narrow win for Pontypool. You had the man of the match as well. Give us your verdict on his performance. So you get the pick of the breakfast in the morning, do you?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's cooking it as well, so...
Really good. Got the brotherly handshake then.
Yeah, no, of course. Better luck next time.
Yeah, very proud dad there. These are the other results. Newport thumped Pontypool, then Merthyr just edged it at home to Swansea. So let's look at the table. And would you look at that? 3 Gwent teams occupying the top 4 positions. Current champions Llandovery out on top after their win against Bridgend, while last year's finalists Cardiff are down in 5th. I'm going to ask you about Pontypool Park because it was one of the best atmospheres I've experienced in the Premiership. Not far off 3,000 there. Those are the nights when they're dreaming of promotion. Those are the games these players want to play in.
Yeah, you never wanted to play there back in the day.
It's still not a place for the faint-hearted, I'll give you that.
It's great to see them back, and they're in a real good position in the league as well now.
OK, well, we will aim to bring you some of the action from the lower leagues across the country by popular demand, of course. And this weekend, we're up north to see what Mold v Caernarfon had to offer us.
What's the call here for Caernarfon? Ewan Evans, good pick-up, good drive. Oh, beautifully timed pass, and here's Carwyn Roberts, the 10.
Well, there are. To put that result in context, this is the table from League One North, a classic between Ruthin and Pwllheli, and a big win for Nantconwy. They've played 7 and won 7 so far this season. Please do send us your tries, and you can find all the pictures from all the leagues on the Welsh Rugby Union website. Right, after a tough campaign placing the top tier of WXV1, Wales women were looking to finish their time in New Zealand on a high.
Wales were looking for their first win in WXV1 on Friday when they...
And in the other matches, Canada scored 4 tries in an impressive victory against France. England thrashed the Black Ferns, and that means they are crowned WXV1 champions with that win over New Zealand in a rematch of last year's World Cup final. And Wales, despite showing promise against the likes of Canada and Australia in the competition, returned from down under empty-handed. And I guess it's a balance, isn't it, Sean, between playing the best to improve, but also, I guess, needing those games in between to gain a bit of confidence.
Yeah, but they can get that through performance law, you know.
Right, well, there is plenty more rugby coming up for you over the next week, and in particular next weekend. Scrum 5 Live is back on Friday night. Cardiff host the Bulls, and S4C have 2 live games next weekend. Scarlets v Lions on Saturday, and Dragons v Leinster. That is your Sunday kickoff. But that's it for this weekend, which signalled the end of an era in Welsh rugby. Yesterday, the stadium stood for 3 men who boast 352 Wales caps, 17 Lions tests, and countless records broken between them. So it's goodbye from me, goodbye from Jamie and Sean. Thank you as well to the Cardiff University team, and it's a goodbye and thank you to some Wales rugby legends.